beating heart of London's pleasure capital, for just shy of £6,000 was the deal of the century. Neglected empty husks they might be, but the shells were as sound could be. He'd been hunting for a year for a property like this, and everything he'd seen had been smaller, twice the price, and nowhere near as well situated as this trio of matching beauties. He had never been one for dancing, but while his expression remained blandly unconvinced, inside he was twirling pirouettes while his mind was already adjusting his original plans and drawing up new ones. Because as his canny grandpa also often said, plans, like dreams, should never be set in stone, but rather allowed to shift with the tide. So a wise man kept them adaptable, especially when the opportunity exceeded all his expectations. And boy, this did. 3 buildings, all in a row. 5 minutes in, and his whirring mind knew already that he had to knock them all into one grand space. A unique theme for every floor. Music, singers, dancing girls, and a bar that never ran dry on the bottom level to attract all the fun lovers as they tumbled out of the nearby theaters. Gaming tables on the 2nd and 3rd floors. Affordable and raucous on 2 for the occasional gambler, or those with limited budgets out for a good time. Higher stakes, more exclusive and intimate on 3, so that those serious about their wagering wouldn't have to waste time with the hobbyists. That floor would be the Holy Grail. Swanky and luxurious and by invitation only. Served by a separate guarded but gilded staircase that rose majestically from the lobby for all to see, but for only the chosen few to climb. Something to aspire to, because the British love nothing more than to feel superior to their fellow men. Or women. He intended to buck the usual trend and throw his doors open to anyone with a purse stuffed with jangling coins. Gal didn't care who his future customers were, so long as they spent their money. Never mind that putting the cat among the pigeons in the stuffy and often suffocating confines of English society like that also warmed the egalitarian American half of his blood. He'd snagged the entire attic for his own office and apartment, because he was all done with temporary lodgings. After more than a decade of roaming, he wanted his own place, his own walls to do with as he pleased, his own decor and furniture. That sense of hearth and home, which had been missing for too long. Even the Albany, where his aristocratic cousin had somehow managed to finesse him a suite of well-appointed rooms, had too many rules and caveats for Gal's liking. And it was too constricting, too English. Mallory's feet shuffled, his obvious impatience marking him as desperate. "I must warn you, I do have other interested parties." Gal quashed the urge to roll his eyes and give this hapless lord a friendly lecture on the dark art of negotiation, because they both knew he was currently the only ready buyer. Mallory's widowed and childless aunt hadn't been dead more than a few days, and because she had passed miles away in her seaside house in Brighton, the news of her death hadn't yet reached the capital's newspapers, so nothing had been advertised. Never mind that British politeness dictated that any potential rival would feel duty-bound not to inquire about the future of her extensive and lucrative property portfolio until she was safely ensconced underground. Thankfully, not hailing from these parts had always been more beneficial than a hindrance, so he wasn't similarly afflicted, and, as the Brits were so fond of saying, the early bird always caught the worm. That's why he had taken it upon himself to call on our only nephew himself bright and early this morning, fresh from his own long and hasty journey back from Brighton last night, to be the first to offer